All right, Ken, thank you very much. And once again, welcome everybody to a special Friday night edition here of In the Sulky. And it is our pleasure, on behalf of all of us here, to welcome the newest member of our Meadowlands Racing and Entertainment family. It is Racing Secretary Scott Warren. Scott, on behalf of all of us, welcome to the Big M.
Thank you, Brower.
Now, when you came into the track last Friday and you picked up your official program here and you got to see your name down on that front page of all the officials, how did that feel?
Well, it felt great. You know, it's after all the years of working at multiple tracks and being at the mecca of harness racing, it was great to see my name in the program.
You definitely do have the experience to do it. You've done it for quite a few places as well. Where have you worked prior? Let everybody know.
Well, I started out at Ocean Downs in the early 90s. In 95, I went to Rosecroft. At that time, race secretary Rick Bonnenkemper. I worked a couple of summers as his assistant at Ocean Downs, and he asked me to go along. I actually left college to go to Rosecroft and work many capacities: assistant race secretary, program director, announcer, charter, and eventually I ended up race secretary at Rosecroft. And then 2010 ran into Jason Settlemore, the Breeders' Crown at Poconos. And at that time I was looking for work because Rosecroft had fell on hard times. And I've actually 8 years ago today, I arrived at Vernon Downs.
So not everybody necessarily knows exactly what a racing secretary does. Some of the bettors out there might not know. Of course, we know the horsemen know who you are and what you do. So give us an idea of what goes on to prepare the races for each and every racing card.
Well, you try to set the conditions for the horses that you have, and putting out a weekly condition sheet. And like here at the Meadowlands, our double draw is on Tuesday, and put forth right now a couple of 13 race cards. You watch the races, try to adjust conditions as you see fit, maybe new classes as you see fit, and it's an ongoing process.
Now, up at Vernon Downs, you're going to continue that role. So will that be a challenge for you to make sure you can, adequately space the horses out for both places?
It'll be a challenge, but I'm up for it. The plan is to do double draws on Mondays for Vernon, and then I'll do the Tuesday draw here at the Meadowlands for Friday and Saturday.
Is it safe for us to call you a jack of all trades there, being an announcer as well? You know that if I need somebody in a pinch, I might have to call you.
Yep, and for the man above, Sam McKee, as he would say, the jack of all trades, master of none.
No, I think you're master of plenty. You've done a great job so far. Now, listen, it also helps that your first day of work last week just happened to coincide with the first day of the purse appropriation from the state of New Jersey here. Is it fair for us to call this maybe a little bit of a new era at the Meadowlands?
Yeah, I mean, it's a new era with the money. I don't know if entirely a new era, because we're just trying to bring the Meadowlands back to what it once was, to as much a capacity as possible. It'll be a new era because I'm going to try some things. And sometimes you try things, they may work out, they may not. So we'll see how things go.
You're probably going to face your biggest challenge in the coming weeks here. It certainly has faced us at the Meadowlands at this time of year. As soon as the Pennsylvania tracks open, of course, Pocono Downs is going to open next weekend. Harris, Philadelphia at the end of the month here. What do you think you will try to do to combat that competition?
Well, we wrote the 3-year-old series in April, because Pennsylvania Sire Stakes, the New York Sire Stakes, and the Jersey Sire Stakes all start in May. So that is a stepping stone with those 3 legs in the final coming up in April. Mate steal Peter Koch's dash for the G notes in certain classes if we see fit that there's a surplus of horses. I've actually tossed the idea, because there's a lot of import of horses coming from Australia and New Zealand, that I'm looking to possibly write some sort of series just strictly for New Zealand and Australian horses.
I think that would be a great idea, since they really do tend to perform well here, especially on the big track at the Meadowlands. You've made a couple of changes to the condition sheet right off the bat here. I see you filled that new race, the non-winners of 8, and we were talking off camera here. That's a pretty interesting event that we're going to have tomorrow night. Yeah,
I was pretty happy how things shook out the week before when Pete was splitting the non-winners of 1,500. There were a handful of horses that fit that condition, so I took a shot and put it on the sheet and ended up with 10 horses Coors Field.
All right, we'll look forward to that tomorrow night. You talked about the series for 3-year-olds. We'll have that in April as well. Now, we introduced some news out of the Meadowlands this morning, actually, about a new bet that we're going to try here at the Big M. We're calling it the Can-Am Pick 4. It will combine a couple of races that you will put together, a couple of races that Scott McKelvey will put together up at Mohawk here. Are you excited about that?
Yeah, I'm excited because anytime you can do any kind of business with Mohawk, it's good because, along with us, they're one of the premier harness tracks, and hopefully the fans will embrace the Can-Am Pick 4, and it'll go over well.
What's the plan for that, too? It's going to be a bet towards the end of the night, right?
Yeah, it's going to be, I think it starts with Mohawk's 10th race, and then our 10th race, and then it'll go there for their 11th, and then our 11th race.
Okay, we'll talk much more about that with Dave Little tomorrow night. We will get in depth there as well. Now, anybody that takes a new job in their life always likes to put their kind of spin on things. What's yours?
Well, I'm not afraid to try something, and if it doesn't work, I'll take it back off the sheet. When I went up to the to Vernon in 2011, one of the first things that I introduced, we're falling forward with the clocks this weekend. Well, I turned the races around for in the fall when we fall back. So up there we raced races on closing weekend going in the clockwise direction 7/8 of a mile. So that's one thing. Up there in a smaller track, you can play around more with things. We've had a father-son driving challenge and trying things. Maybe not to that extent here because we got to look at the betting product and try to put on his best betting product as possible.
Okay, not everybody always understands everything that happens from draw day, which is Tuesday here at the Meadowlands, to race day. Now, it involves you and your travel as well because you don't exactly live around the corner, do you?
Yeah, no, I reside in Harrington, Delaware, but with the job here, I'm actually being able to live at home for a change, which was not happening the last 8 years. But yeah, I travel round trip back and forth twice a week, stay over a couple nights a week here in a local hotel. So it's working out pretty good.
Okay, and most of all, Ken Workington and I are huge hockey fans. We fight about it all the time. We know you are a huge hockey fan as well, but for a different team. Are you still celebrating that Washington Capitals Stanley Cup?
Well, we're still celebrating until the next team races the Cup, the playoff season. Hopefully it could be us again.
It might be. It certainly might be as we look forward to the NHL playoffs. Well, one thing we're definitely looking forward to here at the Meadowlands is you as our new racing secretary. So we welcome you with open arms. We want to wish you lots of good luck with the position as well, and we'll talk to you soon, Scott.
All right, thank you.
All right, Scott Warren, our new racing secretary here at Meadowlands Racing and Entertainment. Little Q&A, get-to-know-him session. You'll see a lot of his changes coming up in the program soon. Let's take a quick time out, folks, and when we come back, we'll have Bob Hollywood Hayden in that chair. We'll give out our weekly awards, and then we'll look in on a couple of Friday nights feature races. So stick around, folks. We will be right back after this.